Good morning. Slightly late. I did say that I would be live at 10 o'clock, so sorry if you were waiting at 10 o'clock and I didn't pop up on your Facebook feed. My name's Annie Conboy and I'm here to bring in the guidance that the higher energy beings, the higher side, the light side as I call it, offer to us by way of support to help us to work through our week, our life. They'll offer as much encouragement and support as you find you need. And these lovely beings often come in. Well, they always come in. Sorry, I'm laughing because somebody's tickling my ears again. It's like they've got my ears like this, and it's like, okay. All right, whatever. Oh, now they're patting the back of my head. So, we're good to go. Really good to go. Hooray, hooray, hooray. That heavy energy that was around at the end of July has whizzed off. I'm so glad. I don't know about you, but I've had very vivid dreams. Oh, hi Marie. I've had very frustrating old stuff popping back up. I've had a feeling like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I bothering? Oh, I can't be bothered. All sorts of sort of those moments where you doubt yourself. Those moments where you go back over everything and think, oh, that was rubbish. Oh, I didn't do that very well. And all that I should have done and I would have done and I ought to have done. I'm a big fan of Judge Judy Shineling, and she always uses a phrase, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And sometimes I think to myself, oh, Annie, you shoulda, woulda, or coulda. But of course, it's the past is in the past. So we do tend to get stressy-headed about things when we don't really need to, because it is what it is. We can't change the past. We can only change going forward. So, big energy wave coming in today. A huge blast of positive energy. Yay! You may feel like you want to float. You may feel like everything's just click, click, click. There's a lot of nice positive energy, smiles, friendliness, and the unsticking of one or two things you might have been trying to sort out and organise over the past couple of weeks. We have had a distinct shift in the energy in August, but now we're getting a really big blast to help us before we drift into another period of Mercury retrograde. And this next Mercury retrograde, you might find it hard to talk to yourself. Maybe not so much struggle with outward communication, but the inner communication. We're coming out of that phase of who am I? And if you've been doing the work of recognising your abilities and recognising your talents, we're coming into a phase of hi Annette, we're coming into a phase where we now have to commit ourselves to using those talents, being of service. So I'm playing with my scarf. I don't know why I'm playing with my scarf, but it's helping me to focus. The scarf is very finely woven. It's got threads forward and backwards, and I've just noticed a great big pull in it. A bit like life, you think everything is woven well. Oh, hi Linda. And woven, because it's strong. This weave is strong, even though it's very fine, it's strong. and you think to yourself, well, I've got life sorted, the weave is perfect, and then you get a little snag, a little pull, and you go, oh, I've ruined it. But you haven't ruined the integrity of the piece. That's you. So in these threads, in the strands of your life, is your ability, first of all, to be here, and secondly, to offer to yourself and others loving kindness by way of what you're good at. It's taken me most of my life to work out what I'm good at. And I'm still arguing with myself some days and saying, nah, you're not good at that, and you're rubbish at that. It's what we do. We forget the strength of the weave and of each individual strand. And if something gets pulled from you or is snagged, then it's time to think, is that strand totally the right thing to have in my weave? And to recognise when you need to make changes. It's got a lovely change of colour. So with this positive energy that's coming in, oh, hi Lucian, just start this process of recognising how your life is woven together with your abilities. Your abilities have made your life, and you may be sitting in a place where it's not looking like a good life right now. That doesn't mean you can't weave a different future, change things, if you are honest about what you can contribute. Some people aren't meant to be parents. It's a fact. It's not in their nature. Some people aren't meant to be teachers. It's not in their nature either. Some people aren't meant to be leaders. They prefer and are comfortable with and feel happy when they are being directed and following. The reverse is true. There are some people who are destined to be parents, and maybe they don't get to that, or teachers, and maybe they don't ever teach. It's about recognising that maybe we're all supposed to be leaders as well. Not in a big, I am the general way, I am the Prime Minister way, but we can lead from our abilities, lead by example. And the next month is all about dedication. We talked a couple of videos ago about reconciling opposites, about not being at the extremes. And one of the key parts of being able to offer your talents into the world is you need to offer them to yourself first. So there's been some interesting things going on in this past week about how you value yourself and how you feel your worth about what you contribute into the world. Those issues where you aren't valuing yourself will have bounced back up again, where you have got an ability or a talent and you're not applying it in some way, you're not using it to the best that it can be used. And it's an important, very important step in being of service to others, that you have an energy return. I'm a Reiki Master teacher, and one of the things that the Reiki philosophy is very clear about is about recognising what you give by expecting something back. Now, on this planet we use money more than anything, and one of the important points of the coming week is to start to address, how am I valuing myself? If I'm offering something out, I've got choices. I can charge a lot, I can charge an average amount, I can charge a little, I can charge nothing. I can give freely. The biggest issue of all that I've encountered in human nature is that if you give something for free, in other words, without expecting a return of energy, what you've given is never valued, or very rarely valued. Hi, Gemma. And this is a significant thing to take on board in this energy of service this month. That return doesn't necessarily have to be money. Sometimes you do an energy swap. In Reiki we do that quite often. We take turns at giving each other Reiki treatment. It may be that I get a bunch of flowers back for something that I've done. It may be that somebody says, would you like a cup of coffee? And I say, yes, that would be lovely. It may be that because of the time and the travel and what I've invested in doing something, that I may have to say, actually, I want a monetary return of this amount. That's me valuing me. That's me saying I'm giving you something that's worth something. Now, I'd rather be able to just give freely without the stress of having to work out what's the value of this. However, we're not living in that kind of world. Not yet, anyway. We are living in a world where we have to think about the energy exchange and whether that might need to be a financial return. That doesn't make us any less spiritual. It doesn't make us any less willing to help, but it's saying to ourself, I value me. I used to shop in charity shops. Loved them, still do. Go in and have a route around. Because I had no money. What I didn't realise by spending maybe £20 in a charity shop was that there was an impact on me. Because I would say, oh no, I can't have that £20 blouse. That £20 will buy me a whole outfit. Or several outfits some days. I was actually telling myself I wasn't worth that one item. I was sending a signal to me saying, oh, yeah, okay, you know, there's scarcity here, there's lack here, you can't splurge. As much as I wanted to splurge. And it made me resent money and the blouse that I wanted to buy and the people who could afford the blouse I wanted to buy and the charity shops that were doing a wonderful job because it was a form of giving. But I wasn't seeing it as a form of giving. I was lost in this cloud of lack and telling myself I just wasn't worth spending on. That was a really interesting phase of my life, because what it taught me was that money is a part of the abundance that we have. It needs to flow. Abundance isn't about getting something and holding on. It's about distributing it wider into the world. It's about it coming in and it going back out again. It's about always understanding there is enough. There is. And it's not just money that means abundance. I love flowers, a bunch of flowers. Chocolates. Chocolate. I love chocolates. um, somebody behind me, one of my guides, is shouting, "Get off the chocolate!" I do have to be good, or else Linda, my personal trainer, will give me a ticking off. So it's understanding that when we're talking about energy, we have to talk about exchanging energy flowing, circulating the energy. And that's why I like to give an energy exchange. If I go and have a treatment, I organise to pay for it in some way. Maybe it's me doing a return reading or a treatment or whatever. It doesn't matter. We have an energy exchange. And I straightened my head out about this idea of lack. It's a work in process. Shifting old ideas takes a long while when we live in a world that keeps telling us the only thing that's important is money. Look at all those advertisements on the television. They're on and on and on about the things we need. Do we really? But it circulates the money, so they have to keep hooking us in. And I'm back to, we then become stuck in identifying our value in pure monetary terms, and identifying and valuing what we have in pure monetary terms. I have a car. I don't care that it's not a brand new car. I don't care it's not a sporty model. It's a car that came to me that drives perfectly, beautifully, and is a much loved member of the family because it's the right vibe. So we don't have to set a monetary value on everything, but we do have to value what we have. A lot of things are disposable. Our landfill is full of disposable. We aren't valuing ourselves enough to think, wait a minute, do I need to do this to my planet? You know, generations in the future will have to deal with that landfill. Just think how a diamond is formed. It takes millions of years of pressure for carbon to turn into diamonds. Millions. And we're stuck filling our land with stuff that doesn't degrade. Do we need it? That's a really important question. So, coming back to where we are, there's a piece of work to be done this week about valuing yourself. The guides and inspirers are here to try to help you to become strong in, I am worth my time and effort. I'm going to reward me because I love me. I'm going to say to myself, I am worth it. And then what's better, I'm going to say to other people, hey, I'm worth this. I will give if you give back. There's an energy exchange. That would be fabulous. Now, I don't always look for the giving back to be direct to me. Sometimes when I'm using my energy to give a hand up to someone, it's more important that they get the hand up and learn to be able to give, not necessarily back to me, but back to others. And I watch to see what people do with the hand ups that they get in their life. Does it make them appreciate themselves more? Does it make them want to share the giving and to value others? And I feel that's an important part of service, because if you're not valued, whatever you serve at, you will feel in the end, like I did about the charity shops. You'll get yourself into resentment. Hi, Bev. And that's not the right direction. So, take the positive energy of today. It will really hit its peak around 11 o'clock tonight. You might find sleep overnight's a little bit difficult. Do your best to and ask your guides to give you a hand to rest. Tell yourself you value yourself enough to rest, and then don't let the buzzy feeling keep you awake. But the energy is to get you to look over the next few days at what you offer the world, to look at if it's coming from your place of appreciating yourself, coming from your place of valuing yourself, coming from your place of loving yourself, because that's what we have to do to value ourselves. The energy will percolate through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So during those days you may run across people or situations where you aren't being valued. Now, this is a very important point. A lot of the time we suffer in silence. I'm guilty of it. People don't value me, and I go, all right, not saying anything. You find yourself, you're 15th in the queue, and by the time the person gets to you, the smile has disappeared, and they're not interested in saying hello because it's just another person in the line. Sorry, visions of supermarkets came into my head then. It's understanding that there are boundaries, there are points at which we meet one another, and we have to honour each other's energy. So if somebody's a bit shirty with you, smile. A bit short, a bit snappy, smile. You value yourself, even if they don't. Yeah? If somebody is niggling at you, they don't value themselves, because anybody who's niggling isn't valuing themselves. They're not saying, I'm a worth person, I have worth. Notice these things over the next few days and catch yourself, because you'll do it, because I still do. You'll catch yourself. You'll catch yourself going, all right then. Hi, Karen. You catch yourself going, feeling guilty, or feeling like, oh, what have I done wrong, or feeling like, oh, well, let's get out of here. Catch that moment and value yourself. It's an old-fashioned virtue, politeness. I don't feel like we should be polite in the sense of just ignoring bad behaviour in a way, but there is a politeness that we need to share between one another, a respect about listening and about appreciating the people around us, and what they're providing for us. So if you're not being respected, start to look at what's in my energy field where I'm not letting myself be respected. Can't change other people. Well, if only I had that magic wand. Somebody's just dropped me a picture of Harry Potter's wand in front of me. Well, yeah, if we all had a magic wand. I can't change other people, but I can make sure that my energy radiates my sense of value in me. And if someone doesn't want to respect that, if someone doesn't want to see what I'm worth to them, maybe I'm a customer and they're not seeing that if they're annoyed with all their customers, they won't have any for very long. It doesn't matter. It's about me. It's about being open to, I have to maintain that boundary within me that I am worth what I'm worth. I have talent and an ability. By the time you get to Monday, you should have loads of information about where you're not valuing yourself. And I do feel there's another little energy blip, like a little booster that comes in. Again, I feel like it's during the day Monday, and it builds up so that on Tuesday you may find yourself very much I want to use the phrase, I'm loud and I'm proud, but very much speaking for yourself and placing those boundaries and speaking about, I have value, so respect that. We have to speak honestly, and being polite doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge things. Being polite means that we listen back, and that we then say what we want to say in a very calm and considered and kind, compassionate manner, but that we are holding our position from the strength of valuing ourselves. And you may find that you do have to do some speaking out on Tuesday to be clear, this is what I'm good at, and this is what's my talent. Remember, it's all about talent, it's all about ability, because you're going to be choosing whether you want to help humanity or not, and choosing to kind of help blind, to understand that your abilities may be used by the higher beings. You may be prompted to do things in a different way, because that's the best way for your talent to be employed. I don't know whether this was made on a machine or whether somebody wove it. I suspect it's a machine piece. Somebody who operated the machine needed to know how to make this item into what it is. The machine doesn't have the talent. The machine is just an outward piece of technology to help somebody be talented enough to make sure that the thread comes through evenly. Even the best of machines, if you're a poor operator of that machine, they're not going to work right. So somebody had the time and the patience and the talent to sort out a scarf, to make a scarf. They may not have thought that their scarf was very important. Perhaps it's one of thousands and thousands of scarves their machine churns out in a year. But there's an energy in this scarf that is positive. Whoever made this scarf on the machine that it was made on did so with care. I can feel it. There are things, there are clothes I don't buy, or things I don't buy because they don't feel as if they were made with love. So the person who sorted this out so that it's around my neck had a talent for what they were doing, that they put into the item that they've made. That's what we have to do. Wherever we end up, whatever we're asked to do, is to love doing it. Appreciate our ability. Take pride. There's the word, pride, in who we are, what we can contribute, and contribute what we know is right to contribute. I'm sure there are many, many operators of machines making scarves who are going, oh, this is just a rotten job. Oh, I'm going to move out of this as soon as I can. Oh, I don't like my team. I don't like the company. I don't like... That gets into the weave. It gets into your life. So are you weaving the best possible life by Tuesday, you'll have enough to think about that you'll spend Wednesday and Thursday going, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. But that's the wonder of tuning into the energy world and working intuitively. That's the blessing that we get, the help to make a beautiful weave out of our life. I'm fascinated with the colour shade. I know it's to do with the thread, you know, but it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful piece of work. Are you a beautiful piece of work? You're the one who's valuing you. You're the one who's saying whether your weave is full of love or not. Do your best to weave your life with love. Do your best to value yourself. Do your best this week to grab that positive energy and turn it into more positive. Thank you very much. I know that that's come from the heart of what the energy beings want us to have help with. If you know of anyone else who could use some wise words, not my wise words, their wise words, about valuing themselves, about the value of what they are doing, please share the video. I know that half an hour sometimes is hard to find, but you can stop it and start it again. You can save it. I do write a daily blog, as I wrote last night, which happened to be about value. I knew that it would be coming up as a topic today. If you, again, can share about the blog, it's at www.annieconboy.net. It's there because these are the energies that I'm living in and I'm working with, and the blog is a way of sharing my thoughts from what I'm being given. The final thing is that if you enjoy the letters from the light side, if you enjoy the information, there is a email newsletter that I send out on the 21st of every month. There's an annual subscription, it's £30, and I want to encourage you, because there are different things in that newsletter that help you stay on track during the month. If you haven't signed up, is it time to think about valuing yourself enough to get the right support? It's an interesting question. If you do want to sign up, all that you have to do is go to paypal.me/PA Conboy/30, and then I will wing your newsletter on its way to you. Until next week, stay strong, stay in the beautiful talents that you've got, and weave a good life. Thank you. Bye.